Vi har storfint besøk I kjøkkenet ditt I dag, Wenche. Cecilia Samartin ute med denne boka. Hun jo kanskje en av Norges absolutt bestselgende utenlandske forfattere. Welcome to Wenche's kitchen.
I am delighted to be here. It smells wonderful.
Yeah,
like home.
That's good because it's only oil, you know. So,
I have the smell.
No, you have the smell
Mofongo
here.
heter Cecilia Samartins siste bok på norsk, men den handler så mye om mat at hun har like godt gitt ut en Mofongo kokebok også, mat for sjelen. It's food for the soul, it says, translated, you know, if I translate back from Norwegian to English.
Yes.
This food, is it your family's kitchen?
These are, for the most part, recipes that I grew up with as a child. And as I was writing the novel, I never thought that there would be a cookbook that would come of it. So I was really wanting to focus on those recipes that had a special meaning for me as I was growing up, that gave me that sense of belonging and family and that warmth. Because I knew it would flavor the novel with those emotions. But I never believed or even dreamed that there would be a cookbook, but now I'm delighted to have the opportunity to share the recipes, but also to introduce my family, which is such a part of the cooking and the tradition of those foods.
How important is your family in your writing, in your creative work?
I'd say it's at the heart of what I do as a writer and in my life. My family is very important to me. You know, we came from Cuba during a very difficult time, and so we really had to bond together and stick together in a new country to remember who we were and to not forget the importance of our culture, and the food was very much a part of that.
Have you ever been back to Cuba?
We're talking about this recipe. This is your mother's recipe.
My mother's recipe of chicken and rice.
Yeah.
Mammas kylling.
Yeah. And your father too was very fond of cooking.
Very much. They cook together, which creates a bit of tension in the kitchen, but they've learned how to balance that out. This is my mother's recipe. This is something we'll often have on Sundays.
Yeah.
And my mother has to make quite a bit because many people will come, the husbands, the children, the cousins, and we'll just get together and make a big pot of, this is arroz con pollo, or chicken and rice, and it goes a long way.
That's the one I have done today. This is the chicken.
Yes.
Here.
Looks beautiful.
Yeah.
You did a fabulous job.
No, the recipe is very good. It's easy to make it from the recipe.
Yeah. Well, I think that most of the recipes in the cookbook are very simple and easy to make, but they have such a legacy, such a tradition in the culture that they're very meaningful to me, and it's something that one can put together in maybe 20 minutes, a half hour, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Others may take a little bit longer, but for example, this particular dish could take a little bit longer, but
it's not altså, dette ikke gourmetmat, ikke komplisert mat, du enig, Wenche? Veldig enkelt, nærmest husmannskost.
Enkel mat, og det råvarer som veldig enkle å få tak I Norge også. The ingredients is easy to get in all that too.
Yes.
Og så using goat, bruker geit, skjønner du.
Yes.
Og jeg tror det et bilde her av et sånn helstekt geitelår, og da legger de bacon rundt, fordi at geita jo atskillig magrere enn et forelår eller lammelår. Men det en god idé, vi gjør det jo av og til på vilt. Jeg gjør det I hvert fall, jeg vet ikke om folk gjør det, men jeg gjør det.
Kjempesmart for å få det saftige og fint.
Ja. But the book is called The Novel, altså romanen heter Mofongo, and Mofongo Food for the Soul is a cookbook. What is Mofongo actually? We can see a picture of Mofongo.
Yes. Mofongo, you could say that Mofongo is the national dish of Puerto Rico.
Akkurat.
And it's a food that's made with green plantains, garlic, olive oil, and bacon. It's a very important ingredient, is the bacon. Yeah. And it's all milled together by hand in something called the pilon, which is a traditional Puerto Rican mortar and pestle that was invented by the Indians, the local Indians.
Okay.
And it's I think a very symbolic food because it brings together many different cultural traditions in one dish. It brings together the African, the European, or the Spanish specifically, and then also the indigenous Indian. And that is really what symbolizes so much of the Caribbean culture is the amalgamation of these different peoples coming together to create something new, which is also at the heart of the novel, is having a sense of your own family history, and that ties you to each other, and just gives you that sense of roots and belonging. So that's a theme throughout the novel that's carried through, and it's also very much a part of cooking in our family, and
Jeg tror vi har et familiebilde her. I think we have a family picture.
Yes.
And this is a typical Sunday in the Samartin family.
We have very big gatherings, probably not every week, but several times, 2 or 3 times a month, we'll get together in large groups, and the kids and the older grandparents and the parents and everyone will get together, and we'll share food and wine and mojitos and whatever we have on hand, and we have a good time. And we forget about the problems of life and just, celebrate and relax for a while. And
sounds great. It's deilig. Now, Cecilia, you can just walk over to Camilla, and she'll talk a bit more about your novel. Altså, denne mofongoen, det er disse kakene, det er gjort på en sånn grønn banan som vi ikke får her i Norge.
Nei, det er vanskelig. Det eneste boken som er vanskelig å lage her hjemme, det er det mofongo. Alle andre oppskrifter går fint, men de grønne bananene får vi ikke tak i, og du kan ikke bruke de grønne, vanlige bananene vi får i butikken, fordi de er en helt annen konsistens.
Det er en annen banan, en kokebanan.
Ja.
Vi fortsetter med kyllingen til mora til Cecilia, og så Camilla, så tar du da forfatterinnen.
Ja, det synes jeg er veldig stas egentlig. Jeg har lest de 3 første bøkene i likhet med mange nordmenn. Cecilia, your books have sold a lot in Norway. Why do you think that is?
Well, I've asked that question quite a bit, and for the most part it's still somewhat of a mystery for me, but I think a big part of it has to do with the global mindset that Norwegians have. I found the Norwegian people I have met to be very interested in other cultures, different from their own, and to really have a fascination, to be well-traveled. And I think that my stories offer readers a very intimate look into the Latino culture. And the novels are, for the most part, emotional, highly emotionally driven stories. And so I think it just gives that very emotional insight into a different culture, and also the immigrant experience, because that's another piece of what I write about a lot.
Yeah, and you moved yourself with your family from Cuba to the States. We heard in the kitchen that family is important to you. Do you use your family a lot in your books?
I do. I think my guess is that most writers will draw upon these experiences that they've had all their lives growing up, and certainly that's true for me. And sometimes in a very direct way. Some of the stories, not so much in Mofongo, although some of the characters are very much inspired by, for example, my grandmother was very inspirational in this story, my own grandmother. But a lot of the stories that my family has shared with me about their lives in Cuba, for example, and experiences they had, I wrote about. So they're fictional, but they're based on true experiences that happened there.
Your previous books are all about women, young women who experience huge emotions, but this time we follow Sebastian, which is a young boy. Why a young boy this time?
Oh, I'm not exactly sure why it isn't something that I deliberately chose, and I said, okay, I've done so many stories about women, now I need to focus on a young boy. It was just sort of something that evolved naturally, and Sebastian is a little boy who is born with a very debilitating heart problem, and it's part of what shapes his experience, a big part of what shapes his experience in his life. And I did know a little boy many years ago when I was working in downtown Los Angeles who was born with a very serious heart problem. And I'll never forget him because he had so much life. In spite of the limitations that he experienced physically, he was probably one of the most alive and spirited little children I had ever known, and that stuck with me. And I think it wasn't until after I started writing the novel that came back to me. And it's always buried somewhere in the subconscious, and then it comes forward, and you realize, that's where it came from. You just have to let it flow.
Was that when, because you've been working as a therapist for many years, the stories from your time as therapist?
Oh yes, I think that there is no better other career for a writer to have than that as a therapist, because you're listening to incredible stories all of the time, meaningful stories, and stories about things that well, people may not feel so comfortable talking about openly, and it just becomes a part of. I feel like those stories have become a part of me, and so when I'm writing, they just naturally flow into the body of what I'm working on at the moment. So it's a wonderful resource.
And obviously, the stories has become a part of the readers as well. We wrote on Facebook, our Facebook page yesterday, that you were coming.
Oh.
And the viewers were thrilled, and were really looking forward to it. And was it Irene that wrote that she wishes the books would continue on and the stories would continue on? Do you think we'll ever meet the characters again from your previous books?
Well, it just so happens that I am working right now on a story related to one of the previous novels, and I had been asked from many readers as well to consider that. And I'm afraid, I'm wary of prequels or sequels because sometimes they don't really live up to the original, but I felt very inspired to write one prequel to Señor Peregrino called La Peregrina. So I'm working on that right now. That'll be a while. I just
looking forward to it.
Yes.
I gotta say, Mai is writing that when she reads your book, she can both sense the old smell and taste from your books. Is that a compliment you appreciate?
We have some smell.
That's beautiful. Oh,
okay.
That is gorgeous and very traditional. That's beautiful.
You have to do a correction.
Okay.
Yes, because I said something about the green bananas, that you couldn't get them in Norway. You can. I won't say they are in every store, every grocery store. No, they are not, but you can get them. So at least ask for them.
På Grønland I Oslo. Tipper jeg du får det.
På Grønland I Oslo kan det nok en at du får det, ja. Og innlandebutikkene kan man jo spørre, men det skal være mulig å få tak I dem. Altså green bananas, they are imported to Norway,
yes.
So you can make the real mofongo.
The real thing.
Sorry for interrupting.
That looks beautiful.
It's okay?
Gorgeous.
Your family would appreciate?
I think so, very much.
How many people could eat this? 4? 5?
Oh, it depends on how hungry you are, but yeah, this could. I think this could serve a family.
Yeah, it's for 2.
Yeah, is that something you hear a lot? That they can feel the sense the smell and tastes from your book?
I have heard that quite a bit, and I love to hear that, because one of the things that I want to offer readers is a sense that they're in a different world, and that they're transported into the space of the novel, and that they're experiencing in a very intimate way what the characters are experiencing. And I think that's one of the reasons that in Mofongo I thought about increasing that whole element of the food. You know, that's a wonderful way to really reach people. Most people love to eat, they love food, and I think it offers a really organic aspect to story, as it does to people's lives. So, and in my previous novels, there's something about food, I think, in all of them. But this one, it's quite central.
Is that why you wanted to do a cookbook as well?
I actually wasn't my idea. I never dreamed of that I would be involved in a project like this. I've loved every minute of it. I've learned so much about what it takes to put a cookbook together, which is it's a big undertaking. But it was something that grew naturally out of the novel, because as I started to write about the food and I started to write about the characters, it's almost like, well, the food became its own character, and it just made sense then to offer readers an opportunity to experience the food for themselves. And so hopefully some readers will have the chance to do that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to tasting afterwards.
Me too.
Thank you very much, Cecilia.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Vi skal